key, which is the fourth foundational key, and it kind of acts as a bit of a bridge between yourself and also the dream vehicle. So this is the thing that ties them together, and it not only ties them together, but it keeps them together. And that's one of the reasons why it's so important, which we're going to go through the reasons for why commitment's so important in the next video. But in this one, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about what commitment really is. So the next key that we're speaking about is the key of commitment, right? And what this key allows us to do once we have it is it allows us to unlock a part of us which has been kept into captivity of having this compulsion of shiny object syndrome. And we find that a lot of people nowadays as well, especially people that come to me, you know, they have like ADHD, attention deficit disorder, or so they're diagnosed with that. But for me, that's just basically something that's showing that either you've got problems with the key of commitment or you have problems with the key of spiritual connection. And I find that when I start to work with my students, like even though they might have ADHD, they tend to find that once they apply some of the things that we help them with the keys of spiritual connection and key of commitment, that these problems then no longer become such a difficulty and a challenge for them. And the thing about the key of commitment is when you have that key of commitment, then you will no longer have to necessarily worry so much about your failure. And the reason why is because there was a saying that my mentor, who was an 8 to 9 figure earner, said to me when I met him for the first time in Barcelona. He said that you don't even need to worry that you're going to fail. And the reason why is because you're never going to quit, are you? And so if you have that type of attitude towards your success, towards whatever you're working towards and your goals, that you, no matter what happens, because of the commitment that you made, are never going to fail, then you'll always stay committed to it. So in this video, I want to break down, you know, first of all, what really is commitment? Because just like with the other ones, I went away and I looked at the Google definition of what commitment is. And what Google says commitment is two things. It's commitment by becoming devoted towards a certain cause or activity. So it's the number one thing, meaning that you have to be devoted to that particular thing. You have to have a connection towards that particular thing. So that's like where the spiritual connection comes into it. So there is a genuine devotion in the same way you might have a devotion towards a person, then you have to have a devotion towards whatever thing it is that you have. You have to have some sort of passion, right? And then the second piece of commitment is that you also have to understand commitment is something that restricts freedom of action, right? Something that restricts freedom of action. And so when you think of it like that, it's like most people will view commitment as not necessarily being a thing that they would really want to sign up for. And the reason why is because most of us, when we're working towards our goals, our dreams, we all say that we want to have financial freedom, we want to have time freedom, we want to have location freedom, we want to have personal freedom to be who we want to be, what we want to, freedom to do what we want to do, when we want to do it. And so if commitment is showing the opposite of this, where you don't necessarily have the freedom to act because it's restricting your freedom of action, then that's something that to most people is going to be quite repulsive. And when I first found out about that, I was like, oh shit, like now I'm no longer going to be able to communicate the benefits of commitment as much, because the truth is that commitment is restricting the freedom of action. But the real way that you are going to benefit from having that commitment in your life is not necessarily from the freedom that it gains and gives you initially. Because having a commitment, the most beautiful thing about it is that it will allow you to have next level freedom in the future. And the reason why is because you're willing to pay a price of freedom now. And when you pay a price now, what you're doing is you're manipulating the way that time works and saying that I'm going to make a sacrifice now, bargain with the future, and I'm going to get more out of the future, knowing that just like with any stock, just like with any asset, the value is going to go up over time. So if I put my money in now, or if I put my freedom in now, then the value actually goes up over time, and what I can cash out or what I can get out with my freedom is going to go up and increase. So this is the what commitment really is. And in the next video, we're going to go into what really is the importance of commitment on your journey when you're starting out, and when you're continuing to go. We're going to dive into the importance and look at the reasons as to why you have to take this next key super seriously. So yeah, I'm going to see you on that one, and we'll go through it.